YouTube is online. Still waiting on Twitch. Still waiting on Twitch. Where was it? No, I'll put it up to 3. That way I have a justification for that one taint. Wow, Twitch is still taking its time. Alright, let's jump into it while Twitch is taking its damn time. So, in this particular video, we're going to focus on mega attributes, and specifically the mega enhancements. And just basically, we're going to go through all of them, and this will give you an idea of, you know, what enhancements you might want to take for your character over on our lovely little server. So, Crush. Mega Strength by itself is enough to cause deadly damage to many people. Most normal humans can't survive blows from someone strong enough to pick up and throw cars. However, Novas with this power have refined their ability to use Mega Strength to kill. They are adept at grabbing and crushing people, delivering punches powerful and focused enough to go through a body. So, Strength is normally bashing damage. Noma with this ability inflicts Brawl and Martial Arts damage, modified by his Mega Strength as usual, as lethal damage when he takes a full turn to focus his attack and spend a Quantum Point. So basically you deal lethal damage instead of bashing damage. Shockwave. This is a famous one. Who needs the San Andreas Fault? A mega strong Nova with the ability can generate his own little earthquake, as he does. All he does is stomp his foot or smash his fist against the ground, causing waves of force and pressure to radiate away from him through the earth. So this is a pretty standard one. It's your earthquake ability. It's sort of it's sort of similar. It has a similar one with Thunderclap. Basically creates a tremendous burst of sound and air pressure enough to hurt people, break windows, cause similar damage. Basically the similar as Shockwave, but with a clap. Quantum Leap essentially allows you to use your prodigiously strong legs to leap enormous distances, faster than the subway, twice as fun, taller than a building, so on and so forth. Lifter basically gives you a bonus to lift things. So you don't do more damage, but you can carry twice as much weight with Lifter. So if you want a character who, you know, has maybe Mega Strength 1, but wants to be able to, like, lift a truck instead of a car, you'd go with Lifter. You still only do 5 points of automatic damage with your attacks, but you'd be able to lift a lot more. And we'll jump over to the Player's Handbook. We have Irresistible Force. So basically what this does is, this enhancement doesn't make it easier for Novas to attack. Instead, it makes it harder for others to stay standing if she hits them. So basically, knock back and knock down when struck by the Nova. Precision. Through experimentation and an innate sense of your own power, you can inflict just the amount of damage you want when you hit something. So this is control, like Goku has. when he was going full power Super Saiyan and doing all that training. When the Nova inflicts damage, you can choose how many of the rolled successes to apply. This enhancement is always on and costs no quantum to use. Thrower. You're not actually stronger than any other Nova with the same level of Mega Strength, but you're better at using it for throwing things. So, for example, if you wanted to make a super strong character that only had a couple points in Mega Strength, but could really lift things and throw them really far, you pick up Lifter and Thrower. It basically doubles the difference a Nova can throw an object. Alright, on to Mega Dexterity. And we're going to jump over to Whiskey Shots. Because as we know, Whiskey Shots has 1 point of Mega Dexterity. So, a lot of viabilities, lots of options here. We have... Come on. Scroll properly. Accuracy. Some Mega Dexterous Novas have an uncanny ability to aim attack and judge how to place their blows for the best effect. Certain Novas claim that the enhancement is the ultimate in hand-eye coordination, while others speak of mystical forces guiding them. Whatever the reason, anyone who sees them in combat can't help but admire their ability. Enhanced movement. You're fast. Really fast. You can run faster than proverbial speeding locomotive at times. Your action time isn't any quicker than the normal Mega Dexterous Nova, but when you've got to cover miles to get somewhere, you can cover them quicker than anyone else. So basically, if you don't want to take hyper movement, you can take this enhancement and be, you know, some level between the two. Fast tasks. The ability to know to perform tasks at an extremely rapid speed without sacrificing any care or workmanship. Flexibility. This isn't about speed or reaction times. It affects the ability to contort their body to reach into places ordinary characters cannot. Physical prodigy. A genius for all physical activities such as sports or running. Somehow knows instinctively how to act, what to do, and how to position himself for the best results. Cat-footed. In Dangerous Worlds, Nova with Mega Dexterity is the stealthiest of the stealthy, able to walk on dead leaves without making a sound or run through sand without leaving footprints. A Nova with Rapid Strike can deliver a blur of rapid-fire punches or kicks to a single target. While they're not any more powerful, they can do a lot more of them. For each dot in Mega Dexterity, a Nova using this enhancement adds 1 to his punch or kick damage dice pool. This effect lasts for 1 turn. So we have Fine Manipulation. You can move your body in very precise ways. You can see, if you can see what you're doing, you can shift a finger just a fraction of a millimeter and manipulate microscopic objects. Omnidexterity. You can use both hands and feet with equal ease. You can also do the same thing with both hands. Writing a letter with each hand, firing a gun with each hand, without penalty. Furthermore, those feet are just as agile as their hands. So if you wanted to make a monkey person, that would be a good one. But I think for Whiskey Shots, it's going to be perfect balance. This Nova has no problem standing, walking, or even driving a motorcycle over ice or other treacherous surfaces. Long rolling, surfing, running along the top of a moving train, bouncing along a tightrope, and walking along a building's icy ledge are all simple feats for Novas with this enhancement. So let's go over to Whiskey Shots. And we're going to go Mega Dexterity. Perfect balance. So Mega Stamina. Adaptability. This is basically Frieza, let's be honest. Allows a Nova to survive nearly any adverse environmental condition. In effect, the Nova uses ambient quantum energies to evolve and bolster her body's natural defenses, allowing her to survive in the environments normally hostile to human life, such as the vacuum of outer space or underwater. Adaptability also allows Nova to do without food, sleep, or other necessities of life. Often Nova with adaptability spontaneously manifest skills, toughen skin, or whatever features needed. Durability. They're tough as nails. Although she's not necessarily capable of ignoring attacks outright, she instinctively channels deadly kinetic energy away from her body. Rolls with otherwise lethal blows, or otherwise is capable of reducing an instant kill attack to a G. That stung. Level of injury. So basically it converts lethal damage to bashing damage. And this one basically resiliency basically doubles the Nova's resistance ratings. The +6 soak against bashing, +4 against lethal, rather than 3+2. So health. Your body resists disease, poisons, utopian sterility cocktails, chemical agents, and all sorts of similar complications. One level of this enhancement subtracts the Nova's mega stamina from the virulence rating of any poison, disease, or other biological and chemical intrusion, including those caused by quantum powers. 2 levels allows the Nova to selectively apply the reduction. For instance, letting alcohol through long enough to get pleasantly drunk, then detoxify when done carousing to become instantly sober. So there's immovable object, which is the counterpoint to irresistible force. When you plant yourself, you don't move unless you want to. It's hard to knock you down or knock you back. You keep going and going. You don't fight off disease or other complications better than any other one else, but you resist fatigue unusually well. Nova with this enhancement could sprint 2 marathons back to back without even elevating her breathing rate. And I think for whiskey shots, I'm going to do health 2 and tireless. Because that seems to fit with our lovely characters. Concept. Health 2 and tireless. So onward. Let's see, what's the next one from whiskey shots? Perception, appearance, and charisma. So what's the next one that shows up on our list? Believe it's perception? Yes. Alright, analytic taste touch. There are many who are gourmets out there who can figure out what spices were used in a particular dish by tasting it. And knows this power can do them one better. He can determine everything in the food, give him a casserole and he can tell you every ingredient as well as how much of each was used. Give him a pretzel and he can tell you how many grains of salt there are on it. Give him poison food and he will detect the point as soon as it touches his tongue. Then spit the food out immediately before the poison can affect him. And this is these are 2 separate ones: analytic taste, analytic touch. Blind fighting. So the name's pretty self-explanatory. If you're blinded, you can still fight normally. Bloodhound. Like the Animal Fortress name, this enhancement allows a Nova to track a person by scent. And that is definitely whiskey shots. So let me quickly put that in there. Electromagnetic vision. Name's kind of self-explanatory, so you can see in the electromagnetic spectrum. This one allows you to transmit waves in electromagnetic spectrums, allowing you to see through solid objects. I'm not quite sure if that would fit for whiskey shots, but I definitely think hyper-enhanced hearing would work for whiskey shots. That's basically, you have the hearing of a dog or a cat. And there's quantum attunement, allows them to sense the ebb and flow of quantum in the energy. This gives her hyper enhanced perception, allowing her to sense the surroundings on the molecular level. This character basically can attune itself to quantum energies. Among other things, this allows the character to make an awareness roll to sense her surroundings. Can also scan for other novas, basically. So it's a kind of a catch-all. It's an attunement for the energies in the area. And of course, ultra peripheral perception. The character has eyes in the back of their head, basically. And I definitely think that fits for Whiskey Shots, being the proprietor of a bar. Prehensile. Now let's jump over to Mega Perception in the Player's Guide. Fast senses. So this allows you to sense things quicker than others. Super fast sound activated microphone picks up a millisecond sound. You can your eyes work like a strobe camera, able to resolve a scene in a tiny fraction of a second. Sensory organs. You can sense the world through any part of your body. See with your hair, smell with your fingers, hear through the soles of your feet. Whatever seems like a good idea at the time. That creepy feeling. Novus knows when he's being watched, overheard, or monitored. Basically similar to the precognition spider sense powers, but as an enhancement. Mega intelligence. Which I don't believe Whiskey Shots has, no. But we'll go over it. Like I said, we're going over everything. So, analyze weakness. Virtually everything, every object, every system, every procedure has flaws, weaknesses, and vulnerable points. In many instances, these problems are so minor as to be unnoticed by the average person. A Novus ability, however, is not the average person. Eidetic memory. A mode that has a memory that's virtually foolproof. He can remember things in precise detail, just about anything that's happened to him. Anything that takes time to study and remains lodged in his mind. However, just because he can store the particular fact in his memory does not mean that he can recall it instantly. Enhanced memory. They basically... A Nova with enhancement lacks the long-term brain power a Nova with Eidetic memory has, but what he lacks in long-term memory he makes up for in short-term recall. He can study a subject and for a brief period remember everything he studied almost exactly. Basically Meteor Man when he touches a book. Mathematical savant. I think the name's pretty self-explanatory. They can run numbers in their head so fast that you don't need a calculator. Linguistics genius. This allows you to know more languages. The mental prodigy allows you to basically have bonus dice in a particular field. As you can see here, we've got engineering, financial, tactical, medical, what have you. Speed reading. Able to read text, whether in a book, a communication, or other media, 4 times as fast as the average human. And then we go over to compartmentalize mind. You split your conscious thought processes remarkably well. In the face of physical or mental assault on your thoughts or your emotions, you can pull back and protect a portion of your consciousness. When subjected to physical or mental trauma, spend 1 quantum and make an intelligence roll. Each success lets a Nova buffer 1 dot of intelligence. It takes 2 successes to compartmentalize 1 dot of mega intelligence. Activating compartmentalized mind is a reflexive action and does not require, action. It's a free action, basically. More mental prodigy stuff. Giving you some other examples. We look here at self-analysis. You've driven yourself a bit crazy, setting aside part of your mind to review the rest. When you engage in self-analysis, it's almost like having someone else look for all the dumb mistakes and wrong conclusions you've drawn, except that nobody else needs to know how thoroughly you've messed up. Basically allows you to redo botched rolls that gave you wrong information. Obviously, this only has to do with like investigation and thought processes things. Like if you botch a dexterity roll, it's not going to help you with that. Megawits, which I believe Whiskey Shots has. Does Whiskey Shots have Megawits? No, Whiskey Shots does not have Megawits. But we're going to go over it anyway, like I said. Oh, there's one we missed in intelligence. Taint resistance. This only has to do with psychological ones. But you don't get one less taint from the node background. And when they gain a mental aberration, you can subtract your mega intelligence from the character's taint to determine the severity of the aberration. Megawits. Artistic genius. A Nova with this ability possesses an intuitive artistic sense and skill. He knows what works artistically and what doesn't, which colors complement each other, and how to knock a chip off a sculpture here and there to turn a pedestrian piece into a masterwork. He may be a skilled writer, or other things, are often darlings in the highbrow scene. Enhanced initiative, so basically gives you bonus to initiative. Natural empath, are very skilled at figuring out what people are feeling. Lie detector, names it self-explanatory. Multitasking. Those who wish for 2 heads or 4 hands so they can get everything done appreciate this enhancement. It allows the node to perform multiple actions with much more ease than the typical person. Basically a reduction to the difficulty but penalty. Quickness is allows you to take extra actions in combat. And synergy. As an instinctive ability to figure out what people are working with and going for, and assist them and complement their efforts. So let's go take a look at Megawits over here. Group awareness. You can sense the subconscious impulses of the members of a group. You know when they're about to turn into a mob or disperse. For instance, how close they are to panic or rage. Basically gives you advance warning to groupthink. You can piece together the clues in speech and behavior. This is with human nature. You don't get particular insight into a person's truth or falsehood, nor the person's immediate state of mind. This having to cues you to deep, long-term concerns. And redirection. You may not be faster than anyone else at your level of Megawits, but you just avoid confusion whenever changing course of action better. Sudden complications? No problem. Alright. Mega appearance. Appearance alteration. Don't like the way you look? A Nova with this enhancement, you can do something about it. Appearance allows them to make minor changes to his or her appearance. So this is not shape-shifting. This can be done simply on a whim or for fun. Awe-inspiring. Many myths tell of gods, demons, whose visages are too awful, awe-inspiring for mortals to gaze directly upon. A Nova with this enhancement has taken a page from that book, for his appearance too inspires awe. Copycat. Being yourself gets kind of boring sometimes. Why not be a famous model or actor? Or the president? Allows you to do just that, just as far as outward appearances go. After studying the subject, to be imitated either in person or from a good photograph, a Nova can make himself look like that person. Even a person of the opposite gender. However, these changes are purely cosmetic. No changes to internal organs occur. First impressions. A character with a high appearance rating is typically quite good at making them. One with mega appearance even more so. However, a Nova with this enhancement beats them both. Unless he deliberately tries to offend or annoy someone whom he is meeting, he almost always makes just the right impression. Depending on the person he meets or is seeking, he may seem to be an enjoyable, likable person, someone to get the job done, a potential mate, you name it. Whatever the other person is seeking, she will find it in this Nova. Face of terror. So, you basically resemble something out of a horror movie. You inspire terror, fear. They run screaming in terror. They may gibber. They may faint or suffer a heart attack. So if you want to go with appearance being something to scare as opposed to fuck, basically. And Mr. Nobody is kind of the opposite of that. It's a paradoxical power. It's the opposite of mega appearance. It allows a Nova to make himself look completely normal. The otherwise beautiful, handsome, or ugly Nova is able to convert their features into unobtrusive ones of Joe and Jane average. The bright side of this anonymity is because it's easy to pass for a normal human. And then we've got seductive looks. By spending a coin point that makes them seem extremely sexy and seductive to the target. The target need not be of the opposite gender as a Nova. The target perceives him as having the attributes they find most attractive or desirable or arousing. So, this is an interesting one with Mega Appearance. Almost live. Whatever the particular features a Mega Appearance gives you, they remain just as potent when you're recorded, videotaped, holographic storage, and the like, and they all convey overwhelming attractiveness. Blind bewitchment. Almost all Mega Appearance features require the audience to see you. This enhancement lets you impress them through another sense. Mirroring. All people subtly mimic the facial expressions and mood cues around them. It's one of the reasons that long-term couples are often said to resemble one another. This enhancement uses this tendency to the Nova's advantage. Those around the Nova take their emotional cues from her facial expressions and physical gestures. A bubbly, laughy Nova uses this enhancement can cause a whole room to lighten up and start laughing, while an angry, pacing Nova can incite those around her to riot. And I think I'm going to go with mirroring and almost live for whiskey shots. And only leaves Mega Charisma for whiskey shots. But we still have other things to look at, don't we? Mega Manipulation. Alright. Hypnotic Gaze. They possess a low-level hypnotic ability. Not as effective as hypnosis or domination power, still useful ability. Persuader. This basically gives you bonus dice to persuading. Trickster. Nova's enhancement possesses an intuitive talent for tricking and fooling people. She could trick Arabs into buying sand, or Eskimos into buying refrigerators. Somehow she senses a person's vulnerabilities and soft spots and uses them against them. No one is safe from a trickster's wiles. The voice. Able to pitch her voice, so she uses infrasound and subharmonics mixed with her normal talk to give nearly irresistible suggestions and commands to whomever speak is directed to. Additionally, her voice is general, pleasant to listen to, and her singing can be absolutely divine. So let's go over to Mega Manipulation in the other book. Conflicting accounts. When addressing two or more people, you can slant your appeal so that each one hears just what he wants to. Each one gets the distinct impression that the Nova favors them, though if they compare notes, they'll find that they remember the events quite differently. Creeping paranoia. Baselines naturally hang on every word of mega social novas. After all, such beings far transcend the normal boundaries of human communication and impress deeply upon the psyche. Though many garner love and adoration, the novas are, to humanity, virtual gods, and humans have always feared their gods. A nova with creeping paranoia enhancement to mega manipulation has a sort of authority that causes doubt, fear, guilt. While a nova doesn't necessarily cause humans to feel such emotions all the time, she does have the capacity to play upon the subconscious turmoil. With a properly stressed phrase, a casual choice of certain words, or a look to accentuate a bit of innuendo, the nova causes some of her speech to burrow into the subject's subconscious mind, there to fester and roil until it bubbles forth in a morass of psychosis, trauma, and self-inflicted paranoia. Nova asks a question, overwhelming question, of one target, and for the duration of the Nova's concentration, the target can do nothing but answer to the best of their ability. And now on to Mega Charisma. Commanding presence. Within is a born leader. When he gives an order, people obey right away, even if it exposes them to harm. Even when they are away from him, people remember his word and try their best to fulfill the orders and live up to the example. Dreadful mean. When you really like someone, their anger or disappointment can come as a crushing blow. Some mega charismatic novas use that pheromone to their advantage, that phenomenon to their advantage. They use their charm as a weapon, even in combat. Enemies want to like them, and that, combined with the force of Nova's displeasure, makes it difficult for the enemy to attack. Natural agitator. When people like you, sometimes they will do things for you, or things you ask them to do. That's doubly true for Nova with this power. Since everybody likes him so much, they hang on to every word. If he tells them to do something, they'll seriously consider it. Seductive. Name kind of implies it's a counterpoint to seductive looks. And soothe, kind of self-explanatory, and is just natural at soothing others' jangled nerves. Is there more in Mega Charisma on this book? Nope, that's the end of that. So, center of attention. You may not be particularly good at giving orders, apart from your innate Mega Charisma advantage, but everyone in the area notices. People feel an urge to check with you before leaving. When you arrive, things stop for a moment as everyone looks to see what you want. Inspiration. You fervor Your fervor carries. People rally to your side and carry with them a bit of your passion for whatever ideas you propose. Perfect guess. You're a paragon of whatever group you're a part of at the moment. You're the one who does all the right things and none of the wrong things. When others in the group say, if you get a clue about what we're doing, you're the one that they point to as an example. And that is that. Now, there was one in Mega Charisma that I liked, and I think works for whiskey shots. So let's see. Center of attention. That's the one we want whiskey shots to have. And that covers all the mega enhancements. So now, how do we figure out health levels? Let's jump over to Mega Endurance. Because there's normally 7 health levels. Actually, do they have an example character sheet in here? Because usually they have an example character sheet. Here we go. So this is how you start off with. You have 7 health levels: bruised, hurt, injured, wounded, maimed, crippled, and incapacitated, and dead. Now, if we go, and this is page 253, we go back up to Mega Endurance. Almost there. So, for example, at Mega Endurance 5, you get dice penalties, energies and pain reduced by 5, 5 extra soak against bashing, and 3 extra soak against lethal, as well as 3 extra bruised health levels. But Whiskey Shots, if I remember correctly, actually has some points of Mega Stamina. 2. Now, if we look at 2, what we're looking at here is dice pool penalties due to injuries and pain reduced by 2. The character receives 2 extra soak against bashing and damage. Bashing damage and... dang it. 1 extra soak against lethal, as well as 1 extra bruised health level. So if we go back down to 253, and we go take a look at what Whiskey Shots would have with 2 points of Mega Endurance, we'll see it's bruised 1. We need an extra bruised health level, which has -0. Hurt is -1. But it's also 0 because it reduces the penalties by 2, remember? Injured. Wounded. And now we're going to actually start to see things happen. Because it maimed we get a -1 bonus. And at crippled, we get a -2 bonus instead of -4. Then incapacitated and dead. So we know that we get 2 extra soaking versus bash, 1 extra versus lethal. There's no, I don't believe we get anything else. Let's see here. As noted above, bashing damage isn't immediately fatal or lethal. Bashing damage also heals more quickly. Aggravated damage cannot be soaked unless Nova has the hard body enhancement or other similar protections. So basically, Whiskey Shots only got the 2-1 bonus versus Soak. There's no extra bonuses that I can see of here, aside from, I believe, Stamina offers bonuses to give you some basic Soak dice. So let me see here. Systems, characters, traits. And if we jump down to... where is it? Stamina. Indicates your character's health, tolerance for pain, and how long she can maintain exertion. It encompasses endurance, physical will to live, and sheer toughness. Stamina determines the character's base soak pool. Most Novas develop a reasonably high stamina during eruption as a side effect of channeling quantum energies. So, 1 bashing soak, 0 lethal soak at 1 point. Whiskey Shots is... 3 stamina. So that means we get 3 bashing, 1 lethal soak. So we go over to Whiskey Shots and go take a look at our stats here. We now are at 5 and 2. That's our base resistance to attacks because she doesn't have any armor powers. So this means that if someone were to attack Whiskey Shots with any type of weapon, power, whatever, I can roll 5 dice if it's bashing, or 2 dice if it's lethal. 0 dice if it's aggravated, because she has no aggravated resistance. Now let's take a look at movement, which I believe should be scrolling up to dexterity. Can I do a search in a PDF document? Movement. Here we go. Your character's actions depend on how far she can move. These rules keep formulas to a minute. A walking character moves 5 meters. 5 meters. 5. A running character moves her dexterity rating plus 12 meters. So, let's take a look. That is 5 plus 6 for Mega Dexterity. Well, actually, Mega Dexterity is rolled separately. It's a Mega Dice. That's 5 plus 12. $17. A sprinting character moves 3 times Dexterity plus 20. So 3 times dexterity, which is 3 times 5, is 15. Plus 20 is 35. And she can't fly or anything else like that. Now take a quick look at the mega attributes, because we know she does have some mega dexterity. So let's see how that applies. The mega dexterity ratings add to the character's initiative, run, and sprint scores. So that is just a straight up additional dice. So again, we're going to look over here. That's going to be 18. And that's 3 times 6, which is, well, isn't that also 18? Plus 20, which would be 28. Let me just make sure I'm doing it right. 3 times 6. 18. Plus 20 is 38. So, minor increase. $38. Now, initiative. Come on, where are you, initiative? There we go. So initiative is the total of your character's dexterity and wits. So we go over looking at whiskey shots. Wits is 3. Dexterity is 5 plus mega dice, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9. Initiative is 9. I roll 9 dice for initiative. So let's see, what else do we need to cover in this basics category? No armor, no weapons of note, aside from claws. But claws has a specificity of how much it does. Alright, we need to figure out quantum pool. That's basically the last thing you need, aside from just figuring out any equipment you have. So let's look at quantum pool. So maybe I can find it in here. Let me see if I can Google it. Ah, yes, here we go. Quantum Pool. Nova's Quantum Pool, the total amount of juice or energy a Nova uses for their abilities. Quantum Pool begins at 20, plus Quantum times 2, and can be raised with Nova points in Phase 2. So looking at Whiskey Shots, Quantum of 4. So 4 times 2 is 8. And starts with 20. So 28. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And this is the quantum pool that has been used. I have a total of quantum pool of 28. I can use a total of 28 quantum points total, before you need to rest and recover your quantum points. So we need to max out the actual quantum pool of because no abilities have been used yet. We are just creating the character. But there you go. So we have covered mega enhancements. We've covered quantum pool. We've covered your movement and your initiative. I think that covers pretty much everything that needs to be covered. So go, you guys all have fun in the Nova Age, Nova era. Peace out.